What's up? Welcome back to Nostalgia. Dave here with my reaction to Blackpink's Coachella headlining set. Yes, of course, Blackpink, one of the headliners at 2023 Coachella, Pinkchella, if you will. Blackpink in 2019, of course, went to Coachella, were the first K-pop girl group to perform there. Now they're back, the first Korean act to headline at the festival. I wanted to talk about this specifically because, of course, Coachella is relevant and important every year in terms of the music industry, but also this is, I think, a seminal moment in K-pop history and a really big moment, obviously, in Blackpink's career. And I think it's very interesting. So I'm going to get into really, I think, all the angles to this and what's next for Blackpink, which I also think is quite interesting to ponder. Overall, it was awesome that Coachella live streamed every single stage throughout the day for this festival for the first time. Of course, making it very easy to watch the show rather than watching it pieced out on Instagram and YouTube for the next month. I just watched the set in full on YouTube. How nice. And I thought it was a really awesome set for a lot of reasons. I think most Blackpink fans have watched clips of the Born Pink World Tour that's still ongoing since last fall. And if they haven't attended it, of course. So I have a good kind of feel of how the Born Pink set list has gone and how those songs have been performed. And I was curious to see what would be different about, the Coachella 2023 set list. Obviously, we know most of the songs will be the same, but how would it be different? And, off the bat, I think the order of the songs makes sense that would change. But I was really happy to see new choreography, just changes to how songs were done. Whether it's like little flares and like accents to certain songs, whether it's like extended intros or outros to songs, extended dance breaks, background dancer breaks. It was, I think, livened up in a really cool way. I think right off the bat, like Type of Girl, for example, which we knew they would perform, one of the bangers off the last album. But the way they had the dancers use these almost like feathery walls to like hide the singers of Blackpink, and it was, I think, a really cool presentation of that. There were some really cool moments where the group would have the background dancers around them, as in this like big mob and stuff. Uh, just those changes I thought were really cool to see. Pink Venom was the opener this time around, which I think made a lot of sense. That was a nice change. And in general, I mean, this set list is just kind of insane. I mean, Pink Venom, Kill This Love, How You Like That, Pretty Savage as the first four songs, just four of their biggest bangers. Love it. After that was, I think, the one surprise in the set list to me, which would be Kick It, from the Kill This Love EP. That was like, the deep cut pick. That is far from a popular Blackpink song. I wouldn't have guessed that as the selection. Nonetheless, kind of cool, and then did Whistle, of course, another banger. Then they went to the solos, which is another more room for, doing something different. Jenny does You and Me, which of course is still unreleased, but she's been performing this all Born Pink tour, but debuting a remix, extended verse, a rap verse version of the second half of the song, which had not been heard before. Sounded great. I really need to hear this version of the song on digital streaming platforms. Put the song out. The Jisoo solo project is out. Now you can officially release Jenny's second solo. Just do it. We need it. I thought that was good. That was really good. Jisoo did Flower. Rose did Both Gone and On the Ground as a medley. Lisa did Money. What you expect. And then they just kind of ran through more bangers. Boombaya, Lovesick Girls, Playing with Fire, Type of Girl, Shutdown, Tally, Do 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 Do, and Forever Young. I thought Shutdown was absolutely fire. That was my favorite song off Born Pink, one of my top 10 songs of 2022. Love the track. And just the energy that I think the members brought to that song specifically really stood out to me. I love that one. Awesome. Also, I have to say, like, Playing with Fire, like, it's a song with 800 million views on YouTube. I can't really call it an underrated song, but I feel like in terms of like the big Blackpink hits, it's almost underrated at this point. Really goes hard. Um, Notably, though, I guess the other surprise with the set list, ending with Forever Young and ending. There was no encore. There was no As If It's Your Last, which was what I think a lot of Blinks were expecting to be the ender, a very popular song of theirs, of course. Um, they didn't come out right on time. I wonder if that was due to set change or timing. Hard to say. But they didn't like premiere right at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. It didn't come out till like, I don't know, like 20 minutes in. Maybe they just ran out of time and they had a hard cutoff. And maybe if they had started on time, they could have fit in another song. Maybe this was the plan all along. Who can say? Doesn't detract from it at all. It just, I think, just a bit of a surprise. Um, yeah, I thought they really crushed it. Vocally, I thought the audio mix was a bit sketchy in the beginning. In terms of you having like your background and then hearing the live vocals. It was hard to hear the live vocals in the beginning. They ironed that out as the set progressed, and they all sounded really good. There's been a lot of talk about the energy level of the Blackpink members throughout the tour, at least the consistency of that. But I really had no doubt, and of course, we had nothing to fear. They all brought it with this set, just like they brought it back in 2019. I think it's really going to be one of those memorable moments in like Coachella recent history. Really exciting. Rose in particular really stood out to me. I thought she just really popped. Obviously, the hair was like really noticeable. She looked great, but her live vocal sounds incredible. Awesome. I think on her solo, she really shines specifically. Um, yeah, I think, moving forward, my big question would be like, what's next for this group? We know the Born Pink World Tour still has some Asia dates to go out through into the early summer, and they just announced a Born Pink World Tour encore in North America, doing a few stadium shows in the United States, their first stadium shows. Twice recently announced stadium shows. Blackpink surely realized that they too could perform at stadiums, and here we are. Now, the elephant in the room, of course, is that Blackpink's 7-year deal with YG is coming to an end in August. All K-pop contracts have a max of 7 years per South Korean law. Now, some of these stadium tours with this encore addition to the Born Pink World Tour are taking place in like August or like September, whenever it is. Probably suggesting that Blackpink is going to re-up with YG. I'm curious to see like what the terms of that are, because despite the fact that YG owns like the name Blackpink, like it's clear that Rose, Jisoo, Jennie, and Lisa, they're just such like global superstars at this point. They have, I mean, apart from music, their fashion presence in that industry is really well established too. They don't really need YG unless YG is really supporting them on super favorable terms, the way like Hybe is, all in on the BTS business, for example. So I'd expect them to get like really big deal, and perhaps maybe they go to the offshoot of YG, the Black label that their longtime producer Teddy Park is heading. I would not be shocked if that was the angle they go to, and how that really manifests to like you and me, the average person, and being any different. I'm not really sure. I would love to hear more Blackpink music. I would love to hear more collaborations outside of the YG family. Who knows if we'll ever get that? We can hope. But yeah, I'm really curious to see like what's next, because this kind of feels like a huge flashpoint, and this Coachella set really feels like a kind of the culmination, the explanation point of this world conquering 7-year run that has been, Act One, Era One of Blackpink. So thankfully, it was a huge success, and they still have a lot of tour dates coming up. But really curious for what's up next with Act Two. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. We review K-pop all the time. So for more music reviews, reactions, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.